Dawson Rider with you.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Welcome to my review for Power Rangers Beast Morphers Episode 9, Silver Sacrifice. I know what you're thinking. Didn't you already review this? Well, you're in the wrong timeline. I wanted to keep up my tradition of getting up to watch Beast Morphers and then getting a video out for it every morning like I had been. I kind of always planned on doing that so that those of you that weren't following the international Vegemite airings can have a review to watch, and then I can kind of revisit it, see if my thoughts changed. I'm not revisiting the videos I already made, the sort of spoiler talks, just out of curiosity to see if anything I say between the two changes afterwards. But I did remember something I said about it, but let's go ahead and dive right in. So I do like this episode. I think my criticism that I remember having from the first viewing still stands a little bit, where I think the main plot was a little bit too soon, meaning the whole thing was around Steel being Nate's brother and like him offering to sacrifice himself, or the very idea of him, you know, giving himself up, or the very idea of him being deactivated was like, you know, devastating to Nate, which does make sense from Nate's perspective because he always wanted a brother. We established this, he was very excited for it, but everything about it just comes too quickly, hey-oh, after the episode of their debut, basically, and I wish they had given it a little bit room to breathe, because the basic premise is that Evox and company, that's their villain name, hashtag Team Roxy, want to get Steel's body to be used for Evox, kind of like originally planned, which I do like that they addressed that. That made me happy that they kept up on that. Again, that almost would have been something cooler to bring up down the line, because it could have been something that you almost kind of forgot about it as an audience, and then they bring it up and you're like, oh crap, I forgot that that was a thing. But regardless, I'm glad that they did that, both because they addressed it immediately in terms of the villain's plans, and because they ended up, you know, squashing that possibility for later, so it's not like a dangling thread where you're leaving yourself asking, like, why did they never try this again? So I was happy that they did that. I am kind of curious why they've never addressed, like, why not the other Beast Bots? Like, the Beast Bots have been involved in other plots before and will be. I'm gonna try not to mention anything from future episodes or anything like that. No spoilers for future episodes in these reviews. The middle sister dies and the pants aren't magic. But I was always curious, like, if Evox could theoretically use any of the other Beast Bots, like, would he not try to? I don't know, maybe it's because of the human DNA for Steel, but then again, he didn't have that when they originally tried to use him. I don't know. That's the only plot hole I think is dangling for me personally, but I feel like I'm the only one thinking about that still. But let's setting that aside, the core plot is they're trying to use Steel's body, and so the commander guy, Ben and Betty's dad, is like, well, we gotta deactivate him right now because he's dangerous. He's too dangerous to be kept alive. And the Rangers are like, he can't, he's our family, he's our best friend. I'm like, I think you've known him like 45 seconds. Like, I would get it. Like 30 seconds, you're like, psh, destroy that bish. But then like 45 seconds, it's like, okay, he's family. That's basically Toku rules. Like, they've known him for 4 seconds and he's like their best friend. He's like in their will, you know, he's the next of kin. Like, it's just ridiculous. So I wish this had been given time to breathe. Like, because Nate wanted a brother so much, that made sense to me. But I wish that we had gotten at least 2-3 episodes with Steel to sort of see him with the group, see him bond with Nate more, see him bond with the other Rangers more, so that way when something like this comes up, it makes sense, whereas now it felt a little bit, not disingenuous isn't the right word, but it just felt too soon for them to have that strict of bonds. Like, it was a good episode to showcase Steel's good character, because he was willing to sacrifice himself once Ben and Betty were put in peril, but I just think that it could have been better if it was given a little bit room to breathe. I think they could have rearranged the plots a little bit and done this in a few episodes, and it wouldn't have felt so rushed in terms of the character motivations. Like, that's the thing about this episode, is I do like it and I like what it did, but I think it would have been served better holding off for a little bit. It's not like a huge deal breaker, I just think it would have flowed narratively a little bit more. Also, something I wanted to mention, speaking of Ben and Betty, I believe, if I remember correctly, when I reviewed this for the international airings, I had a complaint about how the Ben and Betty being kidnapped was too convenient, because all I remembered was them doing the gag with the paper where it became confetti, and then next thing you know, they're kidnapped. I totally missed the scene where they showed up with the commander and his, like, a bunch of other people, and then they went off to the side. It was like a really quick scene where, like, you see them getting out of the car and they're like, come on, let's go over here, and then they're kidnapped. So that did have a little bit better flow for that, and it made sense that they would use that to have the commander sort of come around to Steel. But again, I think it would have been better if this all would have been happened later, because then the Rangers would already have bonded with them, and then this episode could have been about the commander understanding more about Steel and stuff like that. They also debuted the main forms for the Zords here, and like I said before, this is obviously because of the footage, but I do appreciate that we didn't debut everything that these Zords have to offer. Like, we just debuted the core basics of them, which I thought was nice, and I like that little bit of taking our time, and it's not just a rush to debut everything toy-wise and stuff like that. At the end, when they took the destroyed pieces of the gate or whatever, I think I said this again too, but I'm like, why didn't they just destroy it? They're like, it's too dangerous to keep steel alive because the Evox could use them, but let's keep these dangerous pieces of a machine, because what if they break in or something and they steal the pieces later? Like, that was kind of stupid to me. That kind of bothered me a little bit. But overall, I do like this episode. I thought it was a solid episode, a solid return mid-season premiere for Beast Morphers. It's kind of more like almost a two-parter for Gold and Silver's debut, where the one before the hiatus was Gold's and this one was Silver, which is kind of nice. But I do just have that small nitpick about the pacing of I just wish that we had gotten more time to see the bonds, to actually believe and understand them. But I still think it was solid. I would overall give the episode a 7.5. Anyway, what did you guys think? If you have not watched the international airings, are you guys excited for Beast Morphers to be back? Let me know what you thought of the episode. I think I already said that, but just let me know twice. If you heard me say it twice, let me know twice. No, don't do that. Okay, that's about it for this one. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for all my videos. Till next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.